channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I am a beauty enthusiast that loves to talk about everything dealing with beauty and makeup, and today we have another skip this, get that. So in short, we're going to be talking about products that were just so underwhelming this year. And I know I'm forgetting products. I know I am, because I tried a lot of products this year, and then there was a lot of products I didn't try. So this is just from what I can remember, and especially the ones that really stood out to me. So I'm going to be sharing with you the products that really were just underwhelming, and then my recommendations for one that I think is either comparable or like I reached for this one more than I reached for that one, and I think you could enjoy the one that I enjoy as well. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it, and let's get right into this video. So let's start off with a glowy product. I like this product, don't get me wrong. Let me just get into it. This is the Poreless Radiant Luminizer. I have mine in the shade Citrine, and this is a beautiful product. Let me just get that right on out the way. It's a beautiful product. I understand why people love it, but for me, the way that I use this product, it's just is kind of like, So the way that I like to use this product is underneath my foundation, and it offers actually good coverage. Like if you like a really glowy base and you want a product that you can almost just kind of wear in and of its own, this actually has really good coverage. I also noticed that this was slightly deeper than my complexion, so I would pair this with foundations that were a little lighter, and it kind of helped to balance it out. But this product is also thicker, and I think that's why I don't reach for it as much, because it is thicker. And when I go to put an illuminator on prior to my foundation, or if I'm gonna mix an illuminator with my foundation, I don't want my foundation to be thicker. And I felt like that's how my base felt with this product. So for me, I like this product, I think, and obviously I can use less of it. Like I said, it was just one that I stopped reaching for those reasons. So for me, if I want a glowy base, I'm gonna reach for one of two products. I'm either gonna go for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I have the shade 5.5. It is what I use today as my base. This product is so glowy. I've said this for years, it's magic in a bottle, and I cannot recommend this product enough. The consistency of it is quite thin. So this is what it looks like here, and I can just sheer it out over the face. It also offers just slight coverage. Like today when I was putting it on my face, I have some redness around my nose, and it definitely dulled the redness. So we're not covering it up like concealer, but it definitely dulled the redness. So if you were someone who has dry skin, or you just don't mind for your skin having a really beautiful kind of wet glow, you could wear this product alone and potentially be satisfied with it. The other product that I'll reach for is going to be the Lila Be A Glow Face Oil, and this is going to be in the shade Golden. Once again, thinner in consistency, gives me the same glowy effect. I can mix it in with foundations, put it on before my foundations, and I don't feel like with either of these products, my foundation is kind of overall being thicker. Whereas with the Auric product, I would probably just wear this by itself, or if I'm just gonna like put this all over my face and then maybe go on with concealer in the areas that I need coverage in, that's how I can wear it. But I am also not that person either. So I just don't really reach for this anymore. And it's a good product. It just didn't do it for me like it does for other people. Now, we got a lot of tinted moisturizers this year. A lot. And I will be sharing my favorite tinted moisturizers from the entire year, but there's a couple that just didn't, once again, So this one tinted moisturizer is gonna be the Glowish Multi-Dew Skin Tint. I have the shade 0810, and this is, if you can believe it now, was too glowy for me. I know, Chelsea and too glowing, they just tend to not go together. This was too glowy for me, and it's also thicker in consistency, so it does add a really good amount of coverage to the face. I would say this almost is a good, almost like solid medium coverage type of product. Of course, you can sheer it out, but it was too glowy, too glowy. I would never want to wear this product alone, and then it's weird because it's a tinted, like it is a tinted moisturizer. So I felt like you can add too much of this product and then you're just like too glowy and thick. And so I just don't reach for this product anymore. There's another one that I don't reach for, and it's for like opposite reasons. Now, this Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Skin Tint, I have mine in the shade 335. This is beautiful. Like, I actually really do like this product and I really recommend it. However, I don't reach for it as much as I probably would if I didn't have the other ones that I'm gonna talk about, because it is a true tinted moisturizer. So for me, I have realized I do want a product that has a little bit more coverage than this one offers. This one is almost like I put on a face moisturizer that has a tint. That's pretty much how this product is. So I will reach for this product if I'm literally just like, I have redness around my nose and I want to cover it up, but I really don't want to put nothing on. This is the product that I'm reaching for. But I thought this would have came with just a little bit more coverage. You know, a little bit more coverage. I love the Synchro Skin foundation, and so I really had high hopes for this one, and it just like missed the mark. So instead of reaching for these two, I reach for, let me talk about the second runner-up and then the first one. The NARS Skin Tint. This is the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. I have the shade Santiago Medium Deep 1. This is amazing, okay? Beautiful natural finish, but it really will work for any skin type. This is not gonna be, in my opinion, too drying for someone who has dry skin. It's not gonna be too dewy for somebody who has oily skin. Very, very radiant. Like, radiant is a good word because you're not getting dew, you're getting radiant, and it's beautiful. Has great coverage for it to be a skin tint. So I would say this product has nice light to light mediums coverage wise. And I don't feel like there's ever a point where I'm like, oh shoot, I've added too much and now this just looks kind of wonky on the face. This is amazing. And there's also a good shade range for this one in terms of skin tints, because typically skin tints don't have as much of a shade range as a foundation would. My number one skin tint for the year is what I'm wearing on my face. This YSL Bare Look Skin Tint. I have mine in the shade Nude 15. And when I say I cannot get enough of this skin tint, this is the most flawless looking skin tint I have ever tried. And I've tried a lot. I wore this product non-stop the latter part of the summer because that's when it came out. And every time I wore it, I would get compliments on my skin. I would even be like amazed that like this product looks so good, but it's still very lightweight and it feels lightweight on the skin. It also has very good coverage too. And I love everything about it. I love this slim tube. I like the applicator as well. Like, the product doesn't squirt out of the tube. It comes out very smooth. And then when I stop squeezing, it stops. It's not messy or anything like that. And it just, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. It looks so perfecting. And that's what I love about this product the most. I've worn it just by itself, like literally put it on my face and walked out the door. I can wear it glammed up like you see it today. I saw this on another person and I was like, what is on your face? And she was like, girl, is that YSL Nude Tint? I was like, ooh, she's amazing. She's amazing. It's just an all around amazing product. And like I said, of all the skin tints that I've tried this year, I would most definitely say this is number one. If you haven't given it a try and you're looking for a good skin tint, check this one out. Check it out. Check it out. Okay, now let's go on to bronzers. So there's two cream bronzers that I tried this year and I actually decluttered them because I couldn't use them. So the first one is going to be the Patrick Ta Cream Bronzer Duo. I was so hyped about that one because I love the Patrick Ta blush duos. Like, they are some of my favorite blushes. So I was like, oh, this is about to be everything. And it just was not. I didn't like, first of all, I got the shade, I want to say I got the shade She Sculpted. It was too light. I felt like I couldn't see anything on my face. And then even formula-wise, I just felt like the formula was different. It wasn't as pigmented as the blushes. And I was just like, oh, it's okay. But I wanted more from the bronzers. And then there's a shade deeper from the one that I tried. I tried the one in the middle. But I felt like with the undertone of that deeper shade, I was like, I know I'm not going to like that one either. So I just was like, I can't use this product. The second one that I tried that I was underwhelmed by was the NARS cream bronzer. I got the shade Laguna. I really enjoy the NARS bronzer, powder bronzer in that shade. And I got it and I was like, this is nice, but I mean, that's literally how I felt about it. And so like, I was disappointed in both products because I really enjoy like other products from the brand, and I just was like, it wasn't giving it to me. So the cream bronzer that I highly recommend that has more shades, not like 20 shades, but it has more shades, is the Say Cream Bronzer. It is the bronzer that I'm wearing today. This is the deep bronze shade. I just decluttered the medium bronze shade. I can wear that one, but it is light, and so I just ended up not reaching for that one. I reach for this one all the time, and it is stunning. This is a beautiful formulation where it is a cream, but it definitely, in my opinion, kind of dries down to a powder a little bit. I'm not gonna say completely. I can put it on top of powder, doesn't pick up my products underneath, and it blends out effortlessly. It's amazing. I love this cream bronzer. This is the cream bronzer that I reach for all the time. Now, if you also want a cream bronzer or a cream product that is a little more of a contour, like a cream contour versus a bronzer, I cannot rave about the Danessa Myricks cream contour enough. So this is in the shade medium 3. This is what I use probably like the first quarter of this year non-stop, like non-stop. It is such a beautiful formulation, kind of like the Say Cream Bronzer. It blends into the skin effortlessly. You can almost never go in with too much with either of these products, because even if you do, it just blends out. You just keep blending, and eventually you're like, okay, this is like this is what I want it to look like. These are amazing products, and I cannot rave about them enough. And both of them, I think, are about the same price range. I feel like they both are around the $25 price range. So not terribly expensive, especially for like high-end and luxury makeup. But these are so worth the buy, and I reach for these all the time compared to the Patrick Ta Cream Duo and the NARS Cream Bronzer. Now, powder bronzer, the one that I tried this year that I was just like, all right, I don't get the hype, but maybe it's just me, is the Glowish bronzer by Huda, and I have the shade Deep Tan 04. Mine came broken, but that doesn't affect my decision at all. It's okay. Like, it's nice. When I have worn it, I'm just like, oh, this is nice, you know, but it does nothing. It doesn't tickle my fancy at all. So the powder bronzers that I would recommend, because I'm like, these are ones that I really do enjoy. And it's just one in terms of like a glowy bronzer, because that is more of a glowy bronzer. This did not come out this year, but it's still one that I reach for, is the Kosas bronzer. This is, if I could say, a glowy bronzer that is just stunning. I had the shade Deep. I also had the shade Medium, but do I still have Medium? Did I declutter Medium? Yes, I decluttered Medium. That one, once again, is a lighter bronzer on me, and I always end up reaching for this one. So this is the one that I kept. I did apply this one on top of the Say Cream Bronzer to just have more of like a glowy bronze. But this is beautiful. I wear it by itself. I'll put it on top of another bronzer. And I think for what the Glowish bronzer is claiming, I can get it from the Kosas bronzer, and I just like this one better because both of them are, if I could say, a reddish bronzer. So it's not like there's a major difference in the tones of these bronzers. I don't know, this one didn't do it for me. It just didn't. And I found myself like just saying, I want a glowy bronze, let me go for this one. So that's the one I would recommend. Next, face palettes. So there was one face palette this year that I just could not get on board with. The formulation actually is very beautiful, and I would say if you are of a lighter complexion and you're looking for a palette like that, like I actually would recommend it. It's a beautiful palette. I just could not get with it, and it is the Charlotte Tilbury Nudegasm palette. I have a whole review on it. I'm not gonna go on my range it here, but I just felt like you're calling it a universal palette, but it is not a universal palette, and no, just No. But I do have a couple of other recommendations also from Charlotte Tilbury, because if you like that concept of kind of having your bronzer, blush, highlighter in a palette, these are the ones that I would recommend for you. So she came out with these two palettes called Instant Look of Love, and the darker one is called Glowing Beauty. So in this particular palette, we get a bronzer. This is her infamous bronzer. We get her face powder, 3 eyeshadows, a blush, and a highlight. And I feel like if you're looking for an all-in-one type of palette, this was a beautiful one. She also has this one in a lighter tone. And I will openly admit, you know, Charlotte can do so much better with her inclusivity. I'm not saying that she accomplished it with these palettes. I'm saying she can do better. But I think these palettes are better in terms of offering a palette for a larger range of complexions. This is the lighter version of these palettes. This is called Pretty Blushed Beauty. And once again, bronzer, face powder, blush, highlighter, and then 3 eyeshadows. Both of these palettes work well against my complexion. I do enjoy them both, and I think they're beautiful. Another palette by her, it is my favorite instant look in a palette. This one is called Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. And oh, when I say I cannot get enough of this palette, I love this one so much. This one does tend to go in and out of stock. So if it's out of stock now, kind of follow the page because she will randomly bring this one back. But this is just stunning. The bronzer shade actually does work against my complexion. It shows on the face deeper than what it looks like in the pan. This is a highlighter. You have 2 blush shades here and then her 3 eyeshadows. This used to be her format of these palettes. And then this year she came out with these palettes that actually have her face powder here versus a highlighter. Love this one. It's just like, I can get so many looks from this palette because, of course, you can use these shades however you want to use them. You don't just have to use them based on how they're marketed. I said that word way too weird. You obviously have a mirror here, and I think these are better Charlotte Tilbury palettes. If that palette you were looking at and you were just like, I don't know if that's going to work for me complexion-wise, I think these are just better bargains from the brand. But 2 other palettes to consider, okay, that I think could be better than those. Yes, I would say that they are better than these. The new Natasha Denona Glam Face and Eye Palette. So this is the lighter version. Today I am wearing the blush and the highlighter from this palette, and I think this is just beautiful. So these palettes don't have a bronzer, but we do get blush, highlighter, and eyeshadow. And depending on your complexion, you probably could use this shade here as a bronzer, or you could just reach for another bronzer. But so sleek, beautifully formulated. I mean, beautifully formulated. I would say the blushes in these palettes are not, they're not bad. They're not the best. I would recommend using either a synthetic brush on the blush or a dual haired brush on the blush. Natural hair brushes I don't think work the best with these, but synthetic or dual haired brushes pick up the product better. But all around, these are just amazing products. And then this is the deeper version, and I really love both. I reach for the lighter one more, but the deeper one, I still reach for it. It's not like I don't use it at all, and it's just amazing. And I think these palettes actually give more complexions something to work with, right? Because looking at Charlotte Tilbury's palette, let's pull up the deeper version real quick. So looking at these two, here is the deeper one from Charlotte. Here's the deeper one from Natasha. So as you can see, let me get in camera. As you can see, shade-wise, we have way more depth in Natasha's palette versus Charlotte Tilbury's palette across the blushes and highlighters as well. So I would recommend, like I said, both of them, but we just get more depth and more, I was about to say range of motion, more flexibility with the deeper palette from Natasha. Formulation, amazing. But in terms of the blushes, I like this blush better simply because it does show up better on the skin. But today I didn't really want to go for anything too vibrant on the cheeks, so that's why I chose the lighter blush. But I can't recommend these Natasha palettes enough. They are so worth the buy, and I think if you're looking for a face palette, you're getting pretty much everything you need in the two Natasha ones. But if you're looking at Charlotte Tilbury, because I love the brand, so, you know, I was like, I don't want to say there's nothing for Charlotte or nothing from Charlotte in terms of face palette wise that you can choose from. Go for those other ones. Unless you are of a lighter complexion, the Nudegasm palette is going to work amazing for you. It actually worked really good on me. Everything showed up on me. So if you're around my complexion or lighter, Nudegasm is going to be a great product for you. And like I said, formulation wise, it's amazing. For me, I'm like universal palette. I can't get with this, and I actually just stopped reaching for it. So that's why I wouldn't recommend it in terms of like a product to the masses. Let's move on to an eyeshadow palette. So I tried a lot of eyeshadow palettes this year, and I actually liked a lot of them. There were not too many duds, hardly. But there was one that I just was like, oh, I just thought, I just. And it is the Natasha Denona Zindo palette. So let me just say, so this is what it looks like up close. Really pretty. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a great everyday palette. Got a couple little pops of color in it. And the formula of this is just like, it was just okay for me. I don't know, it's weird because like, especially this side of the palette, these are colors that I love. Like I love to reach for these colors all the time. And I was like, okay, these are not necessarily colors I'm gonna reach for all the time, but I love these colors. I can definitely reach for them and get good use out of them. And I just didn't. Every time I see this palette, I'm just like, oh, it's okay. You know, that's how I feel about the palette. So I would recommend, even though the color story is a little different, I would highly recommend the bronze palette. In my opinion, in terms of her midi-size palettes, this is still the best formulated midi-size Natasha palette out there. No, we don't have the greens or anything like that, but we've got tons of golds to choose from, and the formulation is amazing. And I still reach for this palette over Zindo, and this palette is what? It's definitely a year and a half old at this point. Another palette from Natasha that I would recommend over Zindo is going to be the Retro palette. I wanted to make sure I had the name right. This one, once again, color story is different, but depending on what shades in the Zindo palette you might like this one better. Formulation, in my opinion, is better. I have reached for this one much more than I reached for the Zindo one. And then a recent palette that I cannot stop using, it's what's actually on my eyes, and color story is a little more similar to Zindo, is going to be the Charlotte Tilbury Smoky Eyes Are Forever palette. This palette is stunning. And I think in terms of like her instant palettes, this might be my favorite because of the versatility of the shades in this palette. So on my eyes, I just have two colors. I went in with this like neutral toned brown shade, created a nice little wing. So drag the color along the base of my eyes and then just like blended out the edges to form that wing. It is the darker shade, is also on the lower lash line. And then I went in with this shade right here as the shimmer. And that's it. And I think the eye look is like simple. It's present though. There's something on my eyes. The formulation is so amazing. This black is so pigmented. Like I have used it as an eyeliner, but it also blends really beautifully. Like I can't say enough about this palette. So for me, if I had to, if I wanted Zindo vibes, I'm for sure reaching for Charlotte Tilbury, and I would reach for Charlotte Tilbury over Retro and over Bronze, depending on what look I wanted. Like if I wanted maybe a little bit more diversity of color, obviously Bronze is not gonna have all the diversity of color. Or if I didn't want this color story in Retro, I'm gonna reach for the Charlotte Tilbury palette. So guys, that is it. I love these skip these, get that videos. I do plan on continuing to do more. I hope to do these videos at least once a month because I think it does it's so cool to talk about like, this product's cool, but like I think this one is better. And like I said, if you like any of the products that I said don't get or skip it, like I know why you like it. I do. I just feel like for me and how I like to use products, the other products I recommended just, you know, attract me for various reasons. So don't take this as a slight, a hate, a shade, or anything like that. It's just a matter of just saying like, hey, if you have like a style of makeup like I do, you know, you might like this version of the product better than the other one. So let me know down in the comment section what product you think was just kind of underwhelming this year, and which one, and then another product that actually like fit the bill. So this product was okay, but this one actually like gives me what I want. Leave that in the comment section below. And if you've made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And another day of Chelseamas is in the bag. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.